Okay, what's up guys? I'm here to film a video. I first want to say thank you for, I'm at 100 subscribers now, so I'm really excited about that. I looked and I was like at 103, I think, so that's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the books I have added to my bookshelf over the kind of winter to spring era or time period, whatever, of this year. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't buy books, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I buy books. So, there you have it. I buy books. Most of them are fiction. Most of them are adult fiction. I have one YA book and I have one nonfiction book. So I'll just start with the nonfiction book because I'm super excited for it. This book is called Superior: The Return of Race Science by Angela Saini. This book is really important. I read an article, I think it was an NPR article, where they were interviewing her about the return of race science, and she was talking about the popularity of ancestry DNA tests. And she was kind of like rude about it. I kind of feel like she was kind of like, what's the point of getting an ancestry test? You are who you are now. You are who your people are now. And I kind of feel like because she's not black, she might not understand why for some black Americans or just black people in general, that ancestry test might be a source of understanding. So she was kind of being rude about it, but then she got into some stuff and she was talking about how there's a return of race science, like that things are intrinsic to race. I was interested by her larger point, though I felt like she was kind of being harsh on ancestry tests. So I wanted to read this. It was really interesting because basically she's saying like everyone thinks of race science as something that like conservative scientists do or like eugenicists do, but no, race science still perseveres. The next book is How Beautiful We Were by Mbola Mbu. This book is so important, guys. I'm surprised I haven't seen a lot about this on Bookstagram and BookTube. This book is about I think a West African village, I want to say it. Yeah, so, fictional. Okay, so in a fictional African village, it tells the story of people living near environmental degradation. I think like there's like an oil company, and basically they're like making the water toxic, and the government is just like letting them do that so they can make money, but it's hurting the people who need the water. And the reason why I wanted to get this is because this reminds me so much of what was going on in the Delta region of Nigeria. And there was a lawsuit actually that went to the one of the international high courts, where the farmers were suing Shell for basically effing up the Delta and toxifying the waters and also just taking the money. And so this reminded me so much of that. I'm glad that this is set in a fictional village so it doesn't get too like prescriptive, but I'm super excited. I want to get to this. I'm hitting a major reading slump, guys. I will get to this soon. Liberty by Caitlyn Greenage. I have another one of her book. I have her book We Love You, Charlie Freeman, I think. But this was a new release, and I've heard mixed reviews on this book actually, but I know the author because she's really popular on Twitter actually. Okay, so this book is about a lot of things, but basically the main girl, Liberty, her mother is a physician in Reconstruction era Brooklyn, and basically her mother wants her to pursue medical school. Especially as like it's so rare for black women to be doctors during this time or to be in medicine, but her daughter Liberty wants to be a singer or be into music, I'm pretty sure. But then also like she meets a man from Haiti who she falls in love with, and it's basically like this book is about a lot of things, but I was very interested in the premise, kind of like the mother-daughter relationship, saying no, I don't want to do what my mom is saying for me to do, and picking the practical career versus doing things that are impractical, such as falling in love with someone from another country who wants you to go to their country, or like pursuing music instead of med school. So I was really interested in this, and a lot of authors really loved this book, but then when I looked on Bookstagram, I was seeing like shade towards this book, so I don't really know what the truth is, but I'm gonna read it anyway because who cares. Okay, The Five Wounds by Kristen, Valdez, Quaid. This is a beautiful cover, which is part of what attracted me to this book, but also Bookshop kept giving me freaking reminders about this book, and they wore me down, so I ended up getting this book. But basically it's set in New Mexico, and basically the main character is an unemployed man who is given the part of Jesus in a church play, and he's like preparing for his role, but then his 15-year-old daughter shows up pregnant on his doorstep. There's just so much. It's basically like a family story I feel like this is a character-driven book versus a plot-driven book, because I'm not even really sure what the plot is about. But whatever, I'm down to read this book, and I've heard good things about this book, actually. But also, the cover is what really got me. Okay, now this book I've already talked about, my anticipated reads. I was really excited to get this book, so I pre-ordered it. But this is The Cost of Knowing by Brittany Morris. If you've heard me talk about it, you know what this book is about. Basically, the main character is a black boy who, when he touches something, he can sense the future. He can see the future. But he touches a photo and he ends up seeing the death of his little brother. So that is a lot. I just really wanted to read a main character who was a black boy, because often I read a lot of stories where it's black girls or black women, and I love those stories. You know, like, obviously, I'm a black woman. I love the stories. But I wanted to just diversify my reading for a second. This is, like, just, like, kind of magical in a way that I like. Like, it's not super fantasy, but it has elements of the magic, and it reminds me of That's So Raven. Light Seekers by Femi Kayode is a book that y'all need to get into, okay? Because this is a thriller mystery set in Nigeria, and I haven't really seen thrillers set out of the US, in my opinion, that I've seen be popular on Bookstagram. So in this book, basically, there is the murder of 3 university children in Port Harcourt, and a Nigerian politician calls in Dr. Philip Taiwo, and he is to investigate what happened to these university children. And there's a lot of, like, this novel basically says there's, you know, discussions of tribalism, things aren't as straightforward as it seems, and just a lot of, like, discussions of, like, the politics of Nigeria. So I'm super excited to get into this book, because I don't love thrillers, but when a thriller is good, it's actually really good. Like, The Push was, you know, I think about that book pretty fondly. So maybe I could get into thrillers. I just need to read it in different settings and featuring different people. So yeah, this is like a murder mystery thriller-esque, but also like social commentary on Nigeria. So I'm super excited to read this. And then last book, The Rib King by Ladie Hubbard. This book, wow, I feel like this is like a book that might end up in my top 10 of the year. I don't know why I'm getting that feeling. First of all, I love the cover. But this book is basically about a black butler who works for a white family. So Barclays, they're a well-to-do white family, and he's been working for them for 15 years. But I'm pretty sure, like, the Barclays, their fortune starts to fall, and their money's almost gone, and you start to see the cracks. So yeah, they start to lose their money. But then the family, you know, strapped for cash, starts to sell the meat sauce that one of the maids of the white family, the black maids of the white family, makes for them. So they start to sell it, and so there's just a lot of, like, obviously, you know, exploration of race, class, like true ownership, fall from grace, like being rich and then falling in fortune. Like, I don't know, this book is, I feel like this is a good book. And I've said in other videos on my Bookstagram, but when a book is the perfect size, like, this feels like the perfect size. But yeah, those are the books I wanted to show you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. 103 subscribers, that is awesome. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.